If you're over 35, successful but secretly exhausted and thinking, there's got to be more to life than this, what you're experiencing isn't burnout or a midlife crisis. It's actually something far more hidden and destructive, and it's called identity drift. Now, having coached over 1,300 men through this exact issue, I'll show you how to recognize it and give you a proven method to reconnect with your family, reclaim your motivation, and feel on top again. But first, let me clear up what nobody openly talks about. Your guilt about feeling ungrateful despite success, it's not rare, man. It's very common among successful men. And if you don't clearly address it right now, it can silently tear your life apart. Now, here's exactly where men get trapped. They chase quick fixes, weekend retreats, productivity hacks, even therapy, but they always end up right back at square one. Why? Because they're treating the wrong problem entirely. The real root cause is identity drift. Identity drift is subtle, man. It's silent. It goes by unnoticed. It's caused when you slowly become someone different from the man you know you're capable of being. It's like slowly drifting away from your true self without even noticing. And it's the reason why your wife says you feel distant even though you're right beside her. It's the reason you snap at your kids and instantly regret it. It's the reason you secretly ask yourself, why am I still not happy despite everything that you've achieved? Now, the good news is that it can be fixed fast, and that's exactly what I'm about to show you step by step. But first, let me show you exactly what's happening here, because understanding this is crucial. I want you to think of your life as a river. At one end upstream is the man you know you're capable of being, your highest potential. And then downstream, there's a waterfall. This is divorce, distant kids. This is lifelong regret. And right now, there are powerful currents at play. Distractions, responsibilities, small daily compromises, and they're silently pulling you towards that waterfall without you noticing. And here's the thing, if you're not actively paddling upstream, and I mean by intentionally choosing your actions, your habits, and your decisions, you begin to quietly drift further downstream, day by day. And this is exactly what identity drift is. It's the silent, subtle, and increasing distance between the man you currently are and the man you know you can be. And if you understand this clearly, what I'm about to show you next will completely change your life forever. Now, you've probably tried things like motivation hacks, productivity tools, even going on big long breaks. But here's exactly why they never last. You might feel like you're paddling hard, but what if you're paddling in the wrong direction? Or maybe you step off the river entirely, you take a break, but sooner or later, you have to get back on, and that current is still pulling you downstream. Now, either way, there's only one real solution. You have to get crystal clear on exactly where you're going, because movement without clarity of direction, brother, that only wears you down. And this is why working harder, grinding more, or doing more never truly fixes that emptiness, that exhaustion or frustration that you're feeling right now. Because effort without direction doesn't just waste energy, it actually speeds you downstream faster. And so what I'm about to share with you works even if you've tried everything else. Because this isn't about working harder or adding more to your plate. It's about a fundamental shift that creates instant clarity and motivation. Now, make sure you pay close attention though to step 2, because that's where 90% of men have their biggest breakthrough. So this process is called clarity as your compass. And this is the exact method we use inside Rising Kings. Now, it's important to understand this is the first pillar in our identity code framework, clarity. And this is the exact framework that helps you rebuild who you truly are step by step. So let's start with the first part of the process. You have to identify, what do you want? This is where you spend time listing out all the things you want. Like, you get them down onto a sheet of paper. Don't hold back, just list them all out. Because it's here in the next step where the real work starts to happen. And this is where you need to figure out, why do you want it? This is where we go deep. And so for each of the things you want that you've just listed out in step 1, is you ask the question, why do you want it? But you don't just ask it once. You need to go at least 5 layers deep. For example, you might start with, I want a better marriage. Then you ask, why do I want a better marriage? And you might come with, because I want to feel closer to my wife. You then have to ask again, why do you want to feel closer to your wife? And you keep going. You repeat this process until you uncover the real emotional clarity and the powerful motivation that you didn't even realize existed. And this deeper clarity, this is the true key to lasting transformation. And then finally, step 3 is, how will you know when you have it? Now, this critical step establishes your success metrics, makes your goal tangible. This is where you create real-world signs that show that you're making progress, right? These are the things that you can actually see, hear, or feel. And to do that, you need to ask yourself this question: what exactly will I see, hear, or feel when I've achieved this? Now, if we continue on with our marriage example, you need to go beyond something like, I'll know I have it when I'm home and feel fully present. Instead, you've got to get ultra specific. Something like, I'll know my marriage is better when I genuinely feel excited to come home each day and connect with my wife without distractions or effort. And this level of clarity creates a vivid destination that your mind can lock onto and navigate towards. And without it, your destination, man, it just remains this vague wish rather than actionable targets. And here's why this clarity method is so powerful. Once you honestly and clearly answer these questions, you immediately know exactly where you're paddling upstream. Right? This clarity becomes your internal compass, becomes your motivation that naturally returns because now you're paddling with clear direction. And this simple clarity exercise alone has transformed thousands of men inside Rising Kings. Men just like you, brother. Successful on paper, but searching for more meaning. I'm talking CEOs, business owners, high performers who look like they had it all figured out, but secretly felt that disconnect. They'll tell you this framework was the turning point where everything changed. And I'm not exaggerating when I say over 90% report significant improvements in their marriage and motivation within just 30 days. Now you know exactly where you're paddling, but what if I told you clarity is just the first step? What comes next is where the real transformation happens. The complete system that gives you not just direction, but the momentum and consistency to actually get there. Now, as I mentioned earlier, clarity is just the first pillar of our full identity code system. Now, just imagine what happens when you combine clarity with the other identity code elements. The second is optimization, creating systems that eliminate decision fatigue and maximize your energy. The third is discipline. This is where you build consistent habits that align with your true direction. And then the fourth is engagement, showing up fully present in every moment that matters. Now together, these four pillars don't just stop the drift, they create unstoppable momentum upstream towards the man you're meant to be. And if you want me to cover the other pillars in upcoming videos, comment code below and I'll share them with you. And if you want to know how to install this, like the accelerated part, I've posted a link below where you can get on the waitlist to come to one of my upcoming identity code bootcamps. So brother, here's what most successful men learn too late. Motivation isn't something you chase. Motivation is the natural result of knowing exactly who you're meant to be and paddling intentionally towards it every single day. And so right now you can clearly see why chasing more hacks or working harder, doing what you've always been doing, never fix the emptiness or frustration you feel inside. You know that there's a silent, dangerous distance between who you are today and the man you promised yourself you'd become, called the drift. And every day you wait, every day you delay clarity, you quietly drift further downstream, closer to the waterfall, disconnected marriage, distant relationship with your kids, permanent regret. But once you get clear, once you know exactly where you're going, everything starts to change. Your marriage starts to feel alive again. Your kids feel your presence again, and success feels meaningful again. So here's what you need to do right now. First, do the clarity exercise we just covered. It takes 15 minutes. Just get clear and stop drifting today. Second, grab the free 7 signs checklist I created specifically for you, linked down below this video. It clearly shows you how far you've drifted and what to do next. And if you want help building the capacity to paddle upstream, I created this video for you right here. Stay strong.